Can you answer what have you learned along the way about fundraising through Go Big Give?
Well, my name's Mary Mollicone, and I'm the Executive Director of the Edgerton Explorit Center. And as you mentioned that we've been taking part in the program since it started. The thing that I want to stress the most is that, like Melissa said, you can't just be in the program and expect people and donors to come to you. 95% of the people that donate to the center on that day or in the pre-give program, I know about ahead of time. I hardly have anybody that just donates money because we're in the program. And I think that relationship building is the biggest thing that we do. We show our donors that we utilize the funds to make an impact in our community with the students that we serve and with the state of Nebraska with our science education. And then we go out and we ask those people. We build relationships. If someone says no to me, I see it as a challenge. I love to hear no because I'll say to them, you know, is it okay if I ask you next year to donate? And then I'll make a note, call them back. They may say no 2 or 3 years in a row, but finally I think they realize that I'm going to keep calling them. I'm going to keep after them and that we do a good job, and then finally, you know, they'll donate and help us make an impact. So I think that's kind of what we do.
Robin, I'm going to give the microphone to you. And Robin has been involved in Go Big Give since the inception too, and I think you've grown quite a bit since that first year.
Everybody wake up.
So I'd like to ask sort of the same question from you. What have you learned since you started the first time, and what would you like to share about your successes and maybe some of your challenges?
Well, I'm Robin Mays, president of Voice for Companion Animals. We are the newbie, I guess, even 4 years. We started 4 years ago, Voice for Companion Animals in Grand Island. One of the very first things that was recommended to me is go talk to the Grand Island Community Foundation. We knew what we wanted to do, but we didn't know where to start. Very first thing was, we're going to introduce you. Do you know what Go Big Give is? And I went, no. So, and she's sitting over there. You kind of go into it as they're going to laugh at me. We have an idea what we want to do. That was 4 years ago. The last Go Big Give that we participated in, we set a goal of 5,000 and we made 6,000. It can be done. The absolute best thing and the best thing I can tell you is write down the email address of give@gobiggive.com. They'll get back with you on every little question. You think it's a little question, it probably isn't. They will help you with every aspect of it. We're all volunteer, we all work. We have no marketing budget. They will help with every aspect, from the independent creating our ad for us, to every question you can come up with. So they've been huge, and they're the reason we are where we are right now.
So the first year that I did Go Big Give, we did more of a passive approach. We passed out international candies on 2nd Street and Locust, which freaked out my staff. So we didn't choose to do that again. But it was fun and it was team building, and we saw probably around $1,000 for that. And then the next year we thought, well, how can we be innovative and different? Because there's a lot of different opportunities to give, lots of events before and the day of. And so what we decided to do is just a thank you event after Go Big Give. And so we had a really successful Indian dinner. One of our board members is from India and prepared that. And we got a sponsor to cover all the costs. So it was free to our organization. It was just volunteer time. And that way we could honor the people who gave afterwards. And they felt like they were part of our organization. But they could also meet our volunteers. And it served as a really nice appreciation event. So I guess my encouragement for everybody is to figure out what makes your organization different, what makes it special, and then then have those kind of creative conversations with the people on your team, whether you're volunteer-driven or all volunteer-driven, or you have an executive director. Just think outside the box. Think about what is special to you, and think about what skills or talents your volunteers have that maybe other organizations' volunteers don't have, and then capitalize on that. This year we're going to do the thank you dinner model as well, and we're going to do international pancakes. So we're going to be highlighting 5 different recipes from 5 different cultures here in Grand Island, and so it's kind of a community event, but also the nice thank you saying thank you for being a donor of Multicultural Coalition.
All right, does anyone in the audience have any questions for the panelists? I encourage you to speak up. These guys have done a great job and they've grown. So if you have any questions about that, anyone?
I've got one.
Yes.
Those of you who have had challenge grants in the past, can you talk a little bit about how you secured those and how you leveraged those to make your day more successful?
Who wants to start?
We had a board member give a challenge grant, and what it did is it lit a fire under other board members to secure advance or pledges from other people. So as Mary said, 95% of her donors, she knows who's going to make those gifts or is making those gifts. That was true for us. So I knew probably more like 80% of the people I knew were going to be making gifts. So we took that leverage from our challenge grant and said, hey, let's get this done, and board members volunteered and said, this is how many people I have giving that day. So that's how it worked for us.
We did a challenge grant, I think the first and second year, if I remember right. The really cool thing, if you think about it, the challenge grant is probably going to be a donation that this person is going to give you anyway. So whether we hit our goal or not. So we actually had the check in our hand. So when we hit our goal or we were very close, we went ahead and put it online and put it in anyway. So if you think about it that way, they're probably going to give you the grant. So regardless. So if you think about it that way, it's just kind of a bonus.
We haven't used the challenge grant in the past, but this year we have asked one of our donors to do a challenge grant. And the nice thing about it, it's been a nice way to go to our other donors that haven't given before or have and tell them, we've got a challenge grant this year. Would you like to give a little bit more, or will you consider donating? And it's actually made quite an impact. We have quite a few more donors this year than we've had in the past. And I think it's all about not being afraid to ask. Worst case scenario, somebody says no, so what? No is not a big deal. You just have to be aggressive, go out there, ask and seek donations to support your organization. And I think, if everybody does that, you're going to be successful.
All right, any other questions for this terrific panel? Got one over here.
I'm kind of curious about this publication that, we did this last year and it was kind of expensive. And I'm kind of wondering about what's the return, if you've experienced, much return for the amount that you invested in an advertisement like this.
Panelists?
One of the things that we went ahead and we didn't do it last year, but we did the first and second year, I think, again. One of the things I think it did for us is it may or may not have made an impact, but as you can see, a lot of people did keep theirs. They kept it for a while, and it may or may not have done anything right off the bat, but it planted a seed, and it's going to be a reminder. Maybe a couple of weeks from then, a month from then, a year from then. It plants the seed just like anything that we do out there. So anytime you can plant the seed, it's a reminder and it's visual that we're out there.
I think it's important to know what your donor demographic is. So if you have people who donate or typically donate to you that are newspaper readers, I think it's a great investment. We did it last year, and our our donor demographic is really shaped up to be an older millennial or a young Gen Xer who doesn't read the newspaper. So I think that you have to know what works for your organization, and I think if you haven't done it, it's worth a try 1 year just to see how it works for your agency.
Yeah, and we've done it a couple different ways. We've done our own ad, I think the first 2 years, and then the last couple years we've teamed up with the other nonprofits in Hamilton County. And I think for us, that's been the best cost-effective way, that you're in the publication, but you're not spending as much money personally as an organization for that. So I think that's a great way. If there's other people you can team up with or organizations, that's a great way to save some funds.
And we got a question over here.
Mary, would you mind talking to, okay, so we talk a lot, like the Explorit Center's been all over Go Big Give, and as a small nonprofit, I'm slightly jealous. Anyway, because you're amazing. But anyway, could you talk about a little bit about how you've partnered with what groups might be considered competitors in the nonprofit market to make Go Big Give a really big success, at least in Hamilton County? Because I think sometimes we look at, like, it'd be easy for me to say MCHI is, or the Hamilton Community Foundation is a competitor on this day, but you have done a really great job of helping everyone get on board.
Yeah, I think that I'm all about partnerships. If there's something that we can do together, the Leadership Center and the Edgerton Center actually partner on some cooking camps. What a great opportunity for the community to be able to bring those things to the children in our community and state. And the Memorial Community Health and Memorial Hospital, they actually partner with us on a couple different camps. We have a Young Doctors and Nurses camp this year, and also a superhero science camp. And I think it's been great. It's been a great partnership, a great way to get the word out about Go Big Give to everybody. And there's so many great organizations here. I mean, we have 108 great opportunities to help the community. So if there are ways that you can partner, we do that. We partner with the Prairie Plains in Aurora, the Aurora Adopt-A-Pet. I mean, there are so many people and organizations out there that if you can think of some unique way to partner together and raise money at the same time, I think that helps everybody. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. No, I just think it's really great because we talk about that, about the fact that there's no way we actually would have did Go Big Give. They called us, and Cami worked really, really hard to try to get us on board, and we said no. Partially because I was in the middle of a USDA loan app. But you did it the first year. We came to your event. We had a blast at your event. And then you're like, I can't believe you didn't do this, Miley. It's an absolute no-brainer. So the next year, we sat in a boardroom with all of the nonprofits in Hamilton County to talk about how can we afford to put an ad out? What does that look like in Aurora? What does that look like for events? Who's going to canvas what? And it all of a sudden became, well, we might, in essence, be competing for the same dollars. Anyone who gets a donation is impacting everyone in the community.
Exactly.
And it took the competition out of it, and it became, I love Go Big Give in our community, because we all do fundraisers. But Go Big Give is a time where we are absolutely 100% a united front in Hamilton County, which is kind of neat. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I think sometimes people think, oh, the Edgerton Center, they've done so well. They have this huge staff that works on getting donations. And actually, we have a full-time staff of 3 people. I do the fundraising executive director duties, as well as operations and planned programming. And then we have 2 educators and a lot of part-time and volunteers. And about 50% of the work that I do is fundraising. That's my job, and I hit the streets. I mean, I talk to everybody, and it's a lot of hard work. But if you work hard and you plan and strategize, I look at those incentives that are offered, and I say, okay, what do I need to do to get those? And then I plan. I talk to my board members. I talk to our staff, and that's a good place to start. Those are the ones that donate first. My board members all donate. Every staff member I have, even though they don't make tons of money as nonprofit employees, we're not all going to get rich doing it, but all of them donate something. They ask their family, they ask their friends. I ask my family, I ask my friends. And it works its way out. So those are good places to start.
The other
getting back to the question with the independent and the ad, as far as does that translate into dollars? Maybe not even the first year, but it might eventually, because as Mary said, you know, you ask a donor and the answer is no, it is an opportunity for you to educate them then on what you do. And then as the year goes on, and if you're in the press or you're in the news doing some event, the donors' ears are going to perk up and say, oh, that's that group, they came around. And so eventually that education piece is so important for that donor in addition to the relationship. But also it's going to it could translate into some volunteer time, which is another big plus for you know, kind of that education piece that goes out there. And I know we will be focusing a little bit more on volunteerism in possibly our ad, and it could be the volunteer time that then too can turn into dollars in a later time.
Well, and I would piggyback off of that. We do try to leverage our dollars by recruiting volunteers. Your staff can't do it all. Mary can't do it all. So I'm sure she probably goes out and seeks volunteer help. Volunteers are huge. And I think their going rate right now is $23 an hour. So any volunteer that you can donate or that you can recruit to assist you with your responsibilities and help you be successful at Go Big Give is going to make money for you. Any other questions?
Lori? I just had a comment that I wanted to add to it, just because in our nonprofit, a lot of our donors are your baby boomers up, and social media is great to reach our younger population. I still read the newspaper. I love my newspaper. But your ad is being seen by everyone that's going to flip through that, and you are going to get donors off of that. I just cannot see that happening. And also, if you notice that the Grand Island Independent was one of the main sponsors of Go Big Give, and we're getting those dollars back as well. So I think that support is important all the way around.
What is the circulation for the flyer, the insert?
It's 15,000, but that translates to 32,000.
Right. So that's, I mean, your opportunity for 15,000 households, and you know, if there's 2 per house, etc., that's a lot of people. So
I was gonna say, Lori Ziska, our rep, she took our ad and put it into PDF format, and we literally were able to run it off and put it in with all of our bill pays, all of our invoices. We have it in the lobby, but it was great because that ad, McKinley was like, whoa, we were really ahead of our time because it's our 50th year, and that set the premise for our 50th year. We didn't even think about that. Way to go us. But anyway, no, I just say is that 2 things you can use that. Like I've never met an ad rep with a paper or anything that has been so able to translate whatever we've done in Go Big Give into things that we can use in our office and use as marketing materials. And we work with a lot of ad reps. We actually work with one ad rep where we can't own our ad afterwards, and I just love that. We're like, well, Lori gives everything to us. Like, she does a great job, and they're really good at translating that. The other thing I'd say is, I say this every year because we hear complaints about how people utilize this program. I don't have an ad budget, but United Way does, and I am super duper duper grateful that what you all do at the United Way allows us to leverage a gigantic nonprofit platform, utilize the talents, the dollars, the internet, the social media. Literally, if all you do is sign up, you're still getting so much bang for a free dollar that if you don't utilize the programs and opportunities that Go Big Give gives you, you are missing out, and you have absolutely no right to complain, because none of us can afford what you all do for us in this program to make us money. None of us could.
Well, thank you. And there is some really good tools out there. Nice plug for that. And the plug for the advertisement. Think about that then as you're working with the independent on designing your ad, that maybe you want it to be in a format that you can email or print and send or whatever. That's a good point. So